Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Welcome back to Vynzo. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a world of geopolitics and energy politics that's got everyone talking. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orbán just told U.S. President Donald Trump that cutting off Russian energy imports would be a disaster for the Hungarian economy. That's right, folks. We're going to break down what this means for Russia, Ukraine, and Europe as a whole. So, let's start with the context. As you may know, Hungary is one of the only countries in Europe still sourcing fossil fuels from Russia. And that's not because Orbán just likes Putin, although it's no secret they have a close relationship. It's because geography plays a huge role here. Hungary's landlocked and doesn't have direct access to Western energy supplies. That makes it nearly impossible to transition away from Russian oil and natural gas. Now, you might be thinking, but why hasn't the EU been able to help them out? Well, countries like the Czech Republic have already successfully weaned themselves off Russian imports, but Hungary's got some serious infrastructure hurdles to overcome. It's not just about building new pipelines or importing energy from other sources. It's about upgrading their entire energy grid to accommodate Western standards. But what's really interesting here is how Orbán is pushing back against EU and US pressure to cut ties with Russia. When Trump called on NATO countries, including Hungary, to stop buying Russian oil, Orbán basically told him that dropping Russian energy imports would be an economic disaster for his country, a 4% hit to the economy, essentially putting it on its knees. Now, some might say this is just about politics, but there's more at play here. Russia wants revenue to fund their war in Ukraine, and Hungary's refusal to cut ties means they're helping Putin out financially. On the other hand, Orbán's stance is also driven by his own domestic interests. He's essentially saying that Western pressure isn't going to work on him. So, what does this mean for the future of Russia-Ukraine relations? Well, it's clear that Russia sees Hungary as a key player in their energy strategy. But it's also clear that Orbán's not going to be swayed by external pressures, and that's got some people worried about the potential consequences. That's all for today's episode of Vynzo. Join us next time as we explore more complex stories from around the world.